There is breaking news now on Fox News Channel. President Trump's former campaign chairman is now registering with the United States government as a foreign agent. That's what a spokesman for Paul Manafort himself told the Associated Press. Manafort left the Trump campaign in August. This comes after the AP tracked more than $1 million worth of secret payments from a pro-Russian political party to Paul Manafort's company. He's one of the people who could hear testify on Capitol Hill as part of the Russia investigation. But the payments came years before Paul Manafort became involved in Trump's campaign. So the question is, had he been a sort of foreign agent for years, and still while working with Trump? A spokesman for Paul Manafort called the AP story misleading and incorrect, and issued a statement that reads in part, Mr. Manafort's work in Ukraine was totally open and appropriate, and wire transfers for international work are perfectly legal. Chad Day is an investigative reporter for the Associated Press. He helped break this story and is live with us from across from the White House. Chad, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Bottom line, what are we sure of here?
So what we're sure of is that we've been able to confirm two payments that came from this ledger. This is known as the Black Ledger in Ukraine, which allegedly details this kind of secret fund that was maintained by a political party there that Paul Manafort worked for. And what we've been able to determine is that two of those payments, totaling more than $1.2 million, actually ended up with Paul Manafort's his firm here in the United States.
There's a lot more money involving Paul Manafort in Ukraine, right?
Well, and so that's the thing, is that at this point there's still some questions that we need to have answered about this ledger. You know, Mr. Manafort worked for years in Ukraine as a political consultant. And so, and this ledger details additional millions of dollars, but at this point we've not been able to confirm those payments. As
many as $13 million. His family heard on wiretaps talking about that money, calling it, among other things, dirty money. And at the same time, Paul Manafort was working, if I'm correct on this, help me, to help the former leader of Ukraine, who is now in exile in Russia. Is that right?
That's correct. That's Viktor Yanukovych, who actually was the leader of the pro-Russian political party, the Party of Regions. And he obviously was ousted in 2014. And this kind of ties back to what you referenced earlier, is that Mr. Manafort worked for him for years, and as part of that work, he directed some lobbying that went on in Washington. And now, today, we're finding out that he has been in talks with federal authorities before the election about whether or not he should register as a foreign agent for that work.
And aren't you supposed to register for that sort of work in advance?
That's usually the case, but that's correct.
So in other words, once he got caught, then he's registering.
Well, I mean, you know, I'll leave that for you to say, but I will say that this...
That is the chain of events, is it not?
That is correct. And, you know, this comes after we reported earlier today that one of the lobbying firms was retroactively filing, basically saying that work that they did that was directed by Manafort's firm could have been construed or could principally have benefited the Ukrainian government. And so, you know, that happened, and then now he's coming out and saying that he's gotten some guidance from federal authorities about whether he should register and that he's going to respond to that guidance.
All right. It's a great piece on AP. If you have an AP app on your phone, it's there now. We're also linking to it on foxnews.com. Chad, as always, thanks.